My name is Dimitri Japaridze. I'm a speaker of Senate of Ilia State University. And that's my honor to moderate this lecture, this event. First of all, let me express my gratitude toward your interest, increased interest, and your attendance of this lecture. Today, we are hosting our colleague from Columbia University of New York City, Professor Arvid Lukauskas. You are warmly welcomed. Our agenda has one item. This is the currency wars. The issue which is top on the agenda of international economic life that affects all our lives and our activities, would be in private or social sector. So let me give you brief info background about our speaker, about the education. Professor Lukauskas is an expert of international and comparative political economy, finance, North-South relation. Concerning his publications, his key publications include The Political Economy of East Asian Crisis and Aftermath, edited by Rivera Batis, The Political Economy of Spanish Financial Policy from Franco to Democracy, and some other interesting works. So he received the BA from University of Wisconsin-Madison, then he received MPA from University of Oklahoma and PhD from University of Pennsylvania. So Professor, we greet you, and the floor is yours. Before Professor starts his lecture, we should agree on certain issues, mostly on procedural issues. I think 45 minutes, Professor, 1 hour will be enough for lecture. That would be followed by comments, discussions, questions, answers. So, please, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, and thanks to all of you for coming today, especially on such a beautiful day. So I admire your dedication to come here and listen to me, and I'm very thankful. Let me also begin by thanking Ilia State University for hosting my lecture. I'm the first of what I think will be many professors from Columbia that will be coming through Tbilisi. All of them are much smarter and more interesting than I am, so you only have good things to look forward to. And I'd also like to thank the East-West Management Institute for helping to put this event together. And all of this is under the auspices of USAID, and they've been very generous in their support of this overall project. So thank you to them as well. So as the professor said, today I'm going to be talking about currency wars, but the currency wars are part of a much broader spectrum of issues. The crisis that the world economy experienced in 2007, 2008, and that in some respects is still ongoing, had a terribly important impact on the world economy. Among other things, it created a very negative international macroeconomic environment. We're seeing very low demand and very low growth in developed countries. We're seeing increasing acrimony among many countries in the world about the policy responses to the crisis. And we also have a great deal of uncertainty about the best way to emerge from this crisis and begin to create a more stable world economy. And I would say ominously, we are beginning to see the repeat of many of the factors that contributed to the onset of the crisis. Most particularly, what I call here global imbalances, and that I'll explain in a minute. So what I'd like to do is, in this talk really, is to discuss how we got to this situation, the current debates, and talk a little bit about the sort of policy responses and policy directions that we might follow moving forward to get out of this crisis. So, there we go. All right. So this is the agenda for the talk. I just want to give you a sort of roadmap in the beginning so you'll see where we're going. I'm going to begin by talking just very briefly about the factors that caused the financial crisis in the first place, focusing particularly on the role of global imbalances. And the way nations have historically attempted to deal with the problems caused by global imbalances has been to attempt macroeconomic policy coordination. The record of this type of coordination is not very good. There are reasons for that, which I'll discuss. There was a fair amount of international economic policy coordination during this crisis, but since its onset, the level of cooperation among countries has certainly declined. So I'll be talking about that as well. One of the interesting things that emerged out of this effort has been what many people have called a new global economic governance structure. So for instance, I'm sure most of you are aware that now we don't talk about the G8 when it comes to issues of trade or issues of finance. We're now talking about the G20. That's indicative, I think, of a broader trend towards a much more complex type of governance structure, so I'll have something to say about that as well. The problems in addressing these issues, I think, have really crystallized in what people have called the currency wars. Okay, so a few months ago, the finance minister of Brazil, in ruminating about all these events in the Financial Times, wrote an opinion piece that said, if the world is not careful, we're going to enter into a period of currency wars. So people like the term war, right? They like trade wars, they like currency wars. So of course, everybody latched onto this, and it really became the buzzword. But as I pointed out, I think this is part of a more complex set of issues. But we're going to discuss what the currency wars are, what the primary issues are, and also the policy options that are available to states